Okay, ready to start your ETL classes. This is the session one. Actually, different type of concepts you have to explain. The first concept is that this is the data warehousing concept, and second one ETL concepts, and third one SQL, and fourth one ETL process. How to process that data, ETL process, and ETL tool. So these are all the concepts of our session one. These are all the concepts actually. And first you have to know that data warehousing. So in that concept, we have to discuss about that. What is data warehouse? Um, can you know that data, Dhanraju sir, Ramya madam? Can you know that
Yes, yes.
data? How can you thinking about that data? When I'm calling that data in the sense, files, um, flat files in the sense MS Word, Excel, Notepad. These are all the flat file systems. And one more thing is that database in the sense MS Access data, SQL data. These are all the databases actually. So these are all, and one more thing, audio and video files and images. These are all the one type of data. So these contains or data, data. So and here the what is a data warehouse in the sense data warehouse combines data from multiple sources into one database. That is called a data warehouse. Actually, here the data logo, here actually data logo, how can you um write that data logo in the sense? This is the uh, data icon actually. Whenever you draw that database, so that database like this, this is the database actually. So data warehousing in the sense, um, data warehousing in the sense combines data from multiple sources. In different type of sources, it can be contains as a one database. So for example, the one online application is available, one job purpose, the one online application is there. So from the one person, one guy, they have to be filling from that Kakinada, and one more person they have to be filling from Vijayawada. So different places actually they have to be filling in that application. So that total application combines data from multiple sources in the sense different places they have to be filling from that online application. That data, different places from the multiple sources into one data warehouse. Um, that is called a data warehousing. On the time, just have to draw that one diagram. See here, for example, here different type of location is there. That location one, for example, and location two, and location three. So different type of locations is available. Um, so this is the data warehouse, for example, data warehouse in the sense like a server, data warehouse. So here in different place, it can be connected into server, and different place it can be converted into one server, and different place it can be connected into uh, one particular area. So here what you have to thinking about is the combination data, the combination data from the multiple sources. It can be multiple sources, it can be connected into one particular area. So this is the data warehouse. This is the data warehouse, and here multiple sources. These are all the multiple sources. So, for example, in this ETL type, how can you understand in the sense? For example, one company is available. That company, they have to be maintaining different locations, and some of the Sriram chits is there. That Sriram chits, it can be available different type of group branches is there. One of the branch is the Vijayawada, one of the branch is the Rajahmundry, and one of the branch is the Kakinada actually, and different type of multiple sources is available from the Sriram chits. So these contains from the data purpose, that persons, that manager, that administrator, each and every time they cannot, they don't go to that particular location. So these multiple sources, it can be stored into one particular area. That data admin, it can be contacted into this data warehouse. So this data warehouse, what is the purpose we have to use this data warehouse? So from the reporting purpose, you have to use this data warehouse. Reporting in the sense that the business intelligence, what they want information. That information purpose from this data warehouse, it can be generated different type of reports. In the sense, for example, that Sriram sheets, they want today onwards the new clients. If any new clients is available today onwards, on the time the data admin or that manager, they have to be contacted into data warehouse. From this data warehouse, it can be generated, or it can be checking, or it can be generated that report. From that purpose, what purpose? If any new clients is available today onwards, so on the time they have to be contact only data warehouse only. Data warehouse, from this information, the multiple sources, the multiple area purpose, they have to be contacting only from this data warehousing. It is clear, Ramya madam? Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Dhanraju sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dhanraju garu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you understand?
Yes, sir. Understands.
Okay. So that is the purpose we have to use this data warehouse actually. So only data warehouse, it can be generated reports what they want required from the business intelligence. It required business intelligence. So so this data warehouse actually, some of the features is available. What type of features is available? Data warehouse in the sense that here for example, the here we will dump data. We will dump data and analyze the data and get the data. And third one, non-volatile data. Non-volatile data means um, always keep on changes. Always keep on changes. Volatile data in the sense always keep on changes. The here data warehousing from this data warehousing data always keep on changes. Why? Because this is a individual. This is not a individual database. This is not a individual database. So here the each and every data it can be maintained multiple data sources. Here the number of clients it can be changes from the job or requirement and each and everything. So on the time, this database also it can be changing. For example, and today onwards, this location it cannot be changed, but and here this location too it can be changed. So on the time also this data warehousing data it can be changed, and location 3 if it is not changed, so on the time the data warehousing it cannot be changed. So here the multiple sources, each one data it can be one location, from the one location it can be changed, the always this data warehousing data also it can be changed, and that's why non-volatile data. And here the maintain that non-volatile data in the sense always keep on change change. So that's why this is the one type of future of data warehousing. And third one and fourth one, should not maintain long time data. Should not maintain. So that one also I have to write. Maintain long time data. So should not maintain long time data in the sense, and here in this data warehousing, it should not be maintain any long time data in the sense, for example, from this area data, from this location data, it cannot be maintained any changes of data actually. So if you want to maintain the one location, that location automatically every day it can be changing. Why? Because from the requirement of users, from the requirement of customers, it can be automatically it can be changing. They have to be every month, they have to be payments is available from this location, from the Sri Ram chits or anything. For example, business purpose also they have to be maintained in different locations from the data actually. DMart, just you have to take thinking about that DMart, and DMart is the Rajahmundry location is there, Kakinada location also is there, Vijayawada location also is there. Every time that location, from this location, the data it can be changing. So in that's why that's why it should not maintain long time data. So every time it can be changing that data, and that's why you are giving some of the futures it can be having this data warehousing. If it is changing the data from this area, then automatically the data warehousing data also it can be changed. And that's why should not maintain long time data. And size also it can be increased, and some of the day it can be increased, some of the day it can be decreased. So in that's why I should not maintain maintain any long time data. So this is the very most important actually. And one more thing, time variant also is available data warehousing. Time variant in the sense, here just you have to thinking about that time variant. Time variant in the sense historical data. Historical data it can be maintained. Time variant in the sense, if you want to request any previous month statement, so that statement actually it can be maintained this data warehousing. So that data is the time variant data. The data is the time variant data. So that is the difference between volatile and variant data. It is clear the data warehousing features. Ramya madam and Dhanraj sir.
సార్ టైం వేరియంట్ ఏంటంటే ఒకసారి
Time variant in the sense, for example, and today onwards you have to maintain database actually, and previous month you have to mention the time, previous month data you have to require time, previous month data. So on the time you have to generate that, from this data warehousing you have to generate previous month statement that is the available. For example, banks are available. For example, Andhra Bank and Union Bank is available. That Union Bank, they have to be maintained different locations. For example, Rajahmundry also, that Union Bank, it can be there in Rajahmundry location and Kakinada location, and Hyderabad location also is there. From this different multiple sources, it can be contain one data warehousing. From this data warehousing, salaries, for example, this Rajahmundry location, the maintain the some salaries actually. That salaries, it can be stored into data warehousing. In this location, from this location, one person, it can be requesting the last month salary statements. I have to request the last month salary statement. So from this data warehousing, it can be possible the last month and previous month salary statement generating today onwards. So that is the time variant data.
ఓకే సార్ ఓకే సార్
So previous, that is called historical data. Historical data in the sense previous generated, previous created, and previous maintain the data. Today onwards, you have to generate. You have to generate the reports. That is called a variant data. Time variant data. Clear?
ఎస్ సార్
Dhanraj, clear? Any doubt?
ఎస్ సార్ నో డౌట్ సార్
Okay. Right. And sixth one, this is the data warehousing futures we have to discuss about in here. And sixth one is the subject oriented. And sixth one is the subject oriented. Sixth one is a subject oriented. Subject oriented in the sense, for example, here you have to maintain the database actually. Subject oriented in the sense you have to maintain the one table from this data warehousing. You have to generated only salaries, uh, or you have to generated only employees. How many members you have to maintain the employees list. That is the subject oriented. So you have to maintain the one table, but in that, from that table you have to generate in different type of subject oriented tables you have to generate. For example, from the one table you have to create it. In that table actually you have to maintain what is that, employee names, father names, IDs, salaries, and PF, and these are all things you have to maintain the one table actually. So from the table you have to generate it only one salary, one employees details only you have to generate from the data warehousing, only employees list, and how much of salaries they have to be maintained from your office. In that purpose you have to generate employee ID and employee name and salaries, and these fields only you have to generated to a report only. So that is the subject oriented. What type of subject you have to subject oriented you have to generated that reports. That is the subject oriented data also you have to maintain from this data warehousing. Clear that subject oriented? Any doubt?
ఎస్ సార్ ఎస్ సార్
Yes. And seventh one, And seventh one is that is the integrated data. They have to be maintained from this data warehousing. Integrated data in the sense data get the multiple sources. That is called a integrated data get a, and here in this data warehousing get from multiple sources. That is called a integrated data. And you have to know that time variant and non-volatile data. These are all features of data warehousing. Clear? These data warehousing features.
Yes, sir. So
Madam
integrated
Ramya,
data
madam.
multiple sources and
Yes, sorry. Sorry, Dhanraj sir.
Yes, sir.
Ramya, madam. Did you
sir,
understand?
seventh point integrated.
Seventh point.
Yeah, sir. Okay.
Okay, seventh point, integrated. Integrated in the sense data get the multiple sources. That is called a integrated data. For example, here this is not a integrated data. This is not a integrated data, and this is not a integrated data. Uh, Here you have to maintain the integrated data. Integrated data in the sense a multiple sources, from the multiple sources it can be maintained one particular area, that is called a data warehousing. This data warehousing it can be maintained integrated data. Integrated data in the sense it is not a one location. It is not a depending on one location. It can be depending on multiple sources. It can be created this data
Yes.
warehousing. It can be depending on multiple sources. From this multiple sources data, it can be maintaining one particular area, that is called a integrated data. Clear?
Okay, sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Dhanraj sir, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ramya madam, any doubt?
No, sir.
Data warehousing. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Yes. Ramya madam?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Okay, right. One moment. And next part is that actually it can be completed that data warehousing. And next part is the um, this transformation purpose, this process purpose, this process purpose, um, multiple sources data it can be stored it into data warehousing. That processing purpose you have to use um, some of the locations is there, that is the OLTP and OLAP. Here actually this is the OLTP. This is the OLTP, online transaction process. This is the online transaction process. This is the online transaction process. Here, the multiple locations and multiple areas is available. This multiple areas and multiple locations, the maintain purpose, you have to use this OLTP. So this is the one example also is there. That example is that database. Database. So database in the sense you have to maintain one laptop. In that laptop you have to maintain different type of songs and videos, and images and Excel sheets, words, Word files, and so many things you have to maintain from your laptop. That is the database. That is the database. From your laptop database, it can be stored into any other server. For example, your laptop database, you have to store into one particular server. That is that server, it can be maintained, and one more laptop also, and one more desktop also. So this different type of multiple databases, it can be stored into data warehousing. So that process is the OLTP, online transaction process. Without the online, you cannot be stored into any server. So that's why that is the online transaction process. That is the online transaction process. And every location they can be contains as a different type of data. So that is called a database. Database is the different, and data warehousing is the different. And the multiple databases, it can be stored into one particular area, that is called a data warehouse. Clear? Database and data warehousing, that the differences. Any doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Ramya madam, are you there? Ramya madam?
No, sir.
Yeah, okay, right. And here, this data warehousing, from this data warehousing, the requirement of that business intelligence, that's business intelligence or user requirement purpose, you have to generate a different type of reports. That purpose, you have to use OLAP. OLAP. OLAP in the sense online analytical processing. Online analytical processing. And here OLTP, online transaction process. Online transaction processing. Here you have to use online transaction processing, and here you have to use online analytical process. This is the actually data warehousing, and here example is the database. Database is the example, and here OLAP purpose you have to use data warehouse. Data warehouse is the example of OLAP. Clear? Any doubt here? OLTP and OLAP? Any doubt from this topic?
Sir, what is the difference, sir?
Sorry.
The difference, what is the difference between
Difference
OLTP
in
and
the sense
OLAP?
that OLTP, that online transaction processing is available from the multiple sources. That multiple sources data, it can be stored into data warehousing. That purpose only you have to use that OLTP, online transaction processing.
Yes,
Clear?
sir.
That is the OLTP. And OLAP in the sense online analytical processing, in the sense from this data warehousing, you have to generate from the requirement of business analysis, analytical problems, or business requirement purpose, you have to generate it. That request purpose, you have to generate some of the reports from this data warehousing. That purpose only you have to use OLAP, online analytical process. From this process only, you have to generate it from the data warehousing reports. That is the difference between OLTP and OLAP. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Ramya madam, any doubt?
సో బిజినెస్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ పర్పస్ బట్టి రిపోర్ట్ అనేది జనరేట్ చేస్తారు సార్ ఓఎల్ఏపి అనేది అంతే కదా
Yes, yes, OLAP. Business requirement purpose, you have to generate the reports from the data warehouse.
yes
Clear?
sir yes sir
So actually, 40 minutes, it is time up.